Good evening, Pathfinder District, and welcome to the start of a new school year, and welcome to the 2020 August Virtual District Roundtable. My name is Matthew Kennedy, and I am your Communications Chair for the District and your MC for tonight, hosting tonight's Roundtable. Before we get started, as we've done the past couple of times, welcome to those of you who are joining us live. If you would, please take a moment and comment where you're currently watching this video. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube or on Periscope, please comment below the video with your name, your unit number, and your position, just so we can use that for attendance. As we've done before, we will be sure to delete those out after we've gotten all the information collated, so you don't have to worry about that just hanging out there. If you are watching this as a recording after the live roundtable, welcome as well. It's one of the advantages of our doing roundtables virtually is we do have the opportunity to have this recorded and be able to show it for all of our units ongoing for the next several weeks. So welcome to tonight's roundtable. We have a lot that we're going to discuss tonight. We're going to be moving things around a little bit on our agenda. We're going to start with our announcements as we normally would, and then instead of doing separate breakout sessions, because both have information that would apply to both Cub Scout packs, Scouts BSA troops, as well as crews and ships, we're going to get into the advancement section first. We'll have an update from Jared Kavanaugh, one of our district vice chairs, talking about all of the current updates as far as advancement, Eagle process, Cub Scout advancement, Scouts BSA advancement, etc., as we go into the new school year, because there are a couple of tweaks. We will then get into recruiting. Obviously, this is an important time of the year when it comes to recruiting. School years are starting in various ways across our district, and so we want to make sure that we have everybody with the most up-to-date information and the best resources that we can provide. So without further ado, we're going to get started on announcements, and what roundtable would be complete without announcements from our very own vice chair of activities, and that would be Alan Wente. Alan, welcome to the roundtable. It's a pleasure to see you, my friend. How are you doing tonight? Oh, I've got you on mute, sir.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
All my fault. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. So good to see you. Wish we were in person, but I feel a lot safer this way. Two things I want to cover tonight, and they both have to deal with camporees. So who doesn't want to get kids out of the house into some organized activities in a safe and efficient manner? So let's talk about the fall camporee first, which is coming up at the beginning of October, and I'm just spaced on the dates, but it is, I think it's the 3rd through the 5th, whatever that Friday of that weekend is. So it is being hosted by Hukoda, and it's at Randsburg Scout Reservation. I don't have 100% of the details yet, but I do have a pretty good indication of what they're going to be doing. There's still just a few things that they're waiting to finalize, and then they will be publishing, hopefully by this weekend, information for all the troops. So what we know is it's at Randsburg. You can start checking in Friday at 5 o'clock, and registration that night is going to run through 9 p.m. There will be an SPL meeting at 9:15 that evening. So they hope to have everybody in camp and checked in by that time, and then they'll be handing out the agenda and the maps and everything of that. The one thing we don't quite know about is where we're actually camping, and that's what they're waiting to finalize from the council office and their reservations as to where actually campsites and ridge will be using. If you can't make it Friday night, that's fine. They will be having a check-in early Saturday morning. So, come as your unit is able. It's going to be a fun evening. Their theme is back in history. So their events are going to be things like tomahawk throwing, rifle shooting, orienteering, first aid pioneering, fire starting, obstacle course, physical fitness, tug of war with a unique twist, as they say, and also a service project. And of course, a campfire that evening and a Scouts own service on Sunday morning. So if you are looking to get your scouts out into an organized activity, absolutely, it is the registration on Black Pug is open. If you go to our district website and you find the calendar, you're able to click on that link, register your unit. It is just like with all of our camporees, it's $12 per youth $8 per adult for that registration. The other camporee we get to talk about briefly, because they're still working out some kinks as well, is that the spring camporee that was postponed is going to be in November. So we have our spring camporee this November 6th through the 8th, and that is at Camp Cretenstein. At the time that they were planning it, it was going to be an Olympics theme. With the Olympics being canceled, I think they're kind of looking to modify that program, and so we don't have everything yet, but we do know to block out that date, November 6th through the 8th, you're going to Camp Cretenstein. We are doing another camporee. This is the spring camporee, which is now in the fall. Same prices. It's going to be $12 per scout, $8 per youth, per adult, $12 per scout, $8 per adult. And again, it's going to be a lot of fun. This one is hosted, and all of our districts have different names now, I think, I'm not even going to try to say what division. It was the Wabash Valley District, and it still may be the Wabash Valley District, but it's our friends out to the west. So those are the two camporees that are coming up, and then we have another one in January. If you would be interested in helping us plan the one in January, we have a call next week. We are hosting that. It's going to be the Klondike, so it's going to be a lot of fun activities, hopefully in the snow, including a sledge race. So we have a call next week. If you're interested in helping us put on that camporee, go ahead and shoot me an email. That's Allen, ALLEN, WENTE @gmail.com, and we'll get you on that committee. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, Alan. It was a pleasure hearing from you. And just to reiterate, you did say that for the fall camporee, and I know this gets confusing, but the actual fall camporee, Keith Carnes noted the dates were October 2nd through 4th. Registration for that is live. You did just say that, correct?
Yes, it says that from my notes from the gentleman who was planning it, Black Pug has registration open for the fall camporee now.
All right.
That was his first sentence.
Excellent. So all of the troops out there, definitely take a moment. October is not as far away as you think, so definitely get in there and register for this great event. Thank you so much, Alan. We'll have you back here in a little bit to do questions shortly. We do want to carry on with some more announcements here, and again, what roundtable would be complete without our own Tucker LaPrade. Tucker, welcome to the roundtable. It's a pleasure to see you, sir. How you doing tonight?
Thank you, Matt. It's just so wonderful to be here with all of you. You guys know me a little bit. I hate to be virtual. I'd love to be around and shake hands, but just really appreciate you and all your efforts to make this such a fantastic event. So we're really grateful that you're here and allowing us to do this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. What do you have for us announcements-wise tonight?
Okay, so just a lot of really fun activities that have already been starting. First off, I want to do a shout out to all the units that participated in the Adopt a School program. This was an inaugural program put on by Cub Scout packs across the Crossroads of America Council and across the state of Indiana on August 8th. And we had several packs in the Pathfinder District. I want to in particular give a shout out to Pack 104 and Pack 260 that did fantastic service projects for their respective schools. And I can tell you that they have already posted those pictures on their schools and in their community Facebook groups, which is just a wonderful, not only is it great for the schools and great for the kids to do service, but it's a wonderful opportunity for goodwill for scouting in the community. So thank you to those. And if you weren't able to participate this year and it sounds really fun to you, certainly invite you to come talk to me or some of the folks from those units, and we'll be really excited to get you going next year on that project or ongoing projects for your school during the year. The next note, popcorn. Misty Walker, our inimitable popcorn colonel, can't be with us. She's actually coming back from a camping trip, so she is scouting. But she wanted me to remind you all that today we still have orders of over $30 online for free shipping for the popcorn sale. So that is a fantastic bargain for folks. It's if you've been online, it's actually hard to buy something for less than $30. So you'll certainly want to have your units kind of taking advantage of that, especially as many of our PAC-SAM troops are relying more on the online sale. If you've looked into any of the popcorn stuff this year, that Trails End has just provided a plethora of wonderful resources to support the online sale, including incentivizing it in a point system. So it's just a really great opportunity. And we've been hearing lots of great stories about scouts selling popcorn online. Just heard from a scout in PAC 459 that wrote that they, just with online sales, are already halfway to their goal. So that's really exciting. We're going to go really deep into recruitment a little later, so I don't want to spoil too much. I will say that just as an FYI for everyone, some of the recruitment nights have been pushed back. That's been very strategic as our school corporations have been delaying their opening. We've decided to give our principals more time to open their schools safely before we come in and do our recruitments. So if you're a community and you're wondering, man, when is my recruitment night? We are finalizing all those in the next few weeks as we get in touch with our last superintendents. So those dates will be coming out, but just know that we've decided as a district committee and a council that we really value the participation of our schools in this effort, and they're our partners, and so we want to give them plenty of time to reopen, and that also gives you more time to continue to plan your program and recruit your leaders. Speaking of planning your program, I'd like to speak on behalf of myself, our district chairman Angie, and our district commissioner Marshall, in continuing to ask you that as you finalize your schedules, or even if they're a draft, you go ahead and post them online to crossroadsbsa.org/IYOS. Those calendars will really help us, especially as we get families that ask us about joining your PAC and what time you might meet and what time your events are. If we have a copy of your calendar that we can refer to, that is really helpful. So if you've not done that, if you're a PAC or a troop, please go ahead and post your calendar to crossroadsbsa.org/IYOS. Finally, and again, we're going to talk more about this in a little bit, but I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to hold this up. I've got a couple extra of these big yellow signs. They have our new Text to Join campaign. And so if anyone would like to put this in their yard, or they have a business or another place that they would like to strategically place this, certainly more than happy to give those to you, and just reach out to me. I think everyone has my cell phone number or email address, and I'd love to give those out as we continue to get the word out about our wonderful program in this exciting time of recruitment. So Alan, Matt, I am going to pass it back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Tucker. Like you said, you're going to have a lot more to talk about here on recruitment shortly, but we will look forward to hearing about that in just a moment. Everyone, thank you so much again for joining us. A lot of people have been checking in via comments. If you have not yet put a comment with your name and unit number below the video, please do so, just so we can take attendance. We have a large turnout. It's fantastic. Also, with those comments, we do receive those in almost real time. It's only delayed by about 30 seconds. If you have a question, or if you have something that you'd like to ask or talk about, please feel free to comment on those in the chat below the videos. We will bring those up toward the end of the video, or toward the end of the roundtable, my apologies, and discuss those with the people that we have here live with us. So please feel free to note your questions, and we will go through those either as we go or during a question and answer session at the end. We do want to move into our first major block of content for today. Like I mentioned, we are going to move things around just a little bit. We want to talk about advancement, and for that, we're going to bring in the fantastic Jared Kavanaugh. Jared, welcome to Roundtable. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. I know that you've got a large amount of information to go over, so I'm going to get my face out of the way, and I'm going to get your face along with a PowerPoint up here in just a second. So take it away. Thank you so much.
Matt, first thing I just would like to talk about is YPT, Youth Protection Training. During this COVID experience of 2020, we've just seen our YPT numbers slowly drop down. So if every committee chair and scout leader can remember to check their YPT, make sure it's up to date, we'd greatly appreciate it because, well, we need YPT to have a great program. Next thing I'd like to talk about is changes that have been made to advancement and some things you might see because of COVID-19. The first couple things are the Cub Scout Advancement. National has made those changes only currently into effect until July 31st. So as you're getting back to your meetings, you'll see that the Cub Scouts family could sign for the requirements that and that time was extended through July 31st. You also might have been able to see that the virtual campouts could count for a lot of the requirements, but always just remember that do your best is the standard we want that to be applied to. The next would be the active leadership accepted practices for Scouts BSA. It's really important as you look through this list that you realize that it's mainly that your scout unit has a plan and clearly defined position, and it has been clearly communicated to the scouts that what your troop is accepting as leadership practices during this time. Moving on is you also need to have clearly defined what an active participation is, to be in good standing, and what has been happening during your virtual meetings. The rank requirements for Scouts BSA are effective until September 1st, 2020 currently. Remember that during this time, all these requirements can be are changed, and these are the national BSA modifications. So tenderfoot, clearly visiting, video conferencing for camping, and the importance of the buddy system and tell rather than demonstrate on a flag. Moving on to second class, video conferencing, planning a 5-mile hike, referencing by photo, and those other things. A flag ceremony may be participated in virtually. So there's just moving on to first class. Virtual patrol or troop campouts count. Evidence of plants can be shown by photos. Water rescue can be done on dry land, and outings for requirement 9C may include past or future outings. Friends may be invited to a virtual meeting for requirement 10. As for merit badges, they may not be modified by a counselor or unit leader. Virtual camping nights don't count for camping. Swimming merit badge cannot be done in pretend water. And signatures for blue cards can be provided electronically. You may virtually visit, virtually tour instead of an in-person experience only if a virtual visit would provide the same expected experience. That's their wording, not mine. So please keep that in mind if you're going to do a virtual tour. On to Eagle application submittal. During COVID-19, we have prolonged the video conferencing that Pathfinder District has been doing for their project reviews and Eagle Border reviews till November 1st of 2020. We were originally saying October 1st. After some discussion, they've decided as of right now it's November 1st. Be honest with you, it's probably going to go to the end of the year. For a project approval, please contact Mr. Lang and Mr. Steve Heath at the Heaths and at the Langs, just different Prodigy.net and Yahoo. Please include everything as separate attachments that when you email them. To schedule an Eagle Border review, submit the rank application, the project workbook, and all the other attachments as individual files saved to it to Mr. Lang at the Langs _000 at yahoo.com and to the Eagle processor at 160 Eagle at crossroadsbsa.org. Once again, please save everything as its own attachment, individual file. It makes everybody's job a lot easier. If you are needing an extension, you can contact me, and please include your unit leader in that email, and we will get that process started because there's two ways we need to go. If that is, we can go on it. If you need the extension, couple people have needed it. Now, if you are a scout watching this and need an extension, you're going to have your unit leader involved in it. So you can't just do it by yourself, please, and have your unit leader involved. And once again, we have pushed virtual boards and project reviews back through November 1st of 2020. Just so everybody understands, that is a change from the last time we met. Advancing in venture crews, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just take it from Scouts BSA and transfer it to venture crews, and everything stays the same. It still must be a separate leadership project for each. So you just read a quick glance over that slide, you'll understand not much has changed. In terms of ships, advancing for the Sea Scouts, not much has changed either. A scout is registered in both Scouts BSA and the ship. The Scoutmaster skipper must discuss who will oversee and sign it all, and all extensions are going to be handled similar to the Eagle rank. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. About any of that. Electronic signatures are accepted during this time, but you need to make sure that you if you're electronic signaturing something, you are very specific on what it is for. So if it's a digital signature for a rank advancement, put that this is for what it is and what requirement. If it's for a merit badge, what is it is for, and signatures may be attached to everything in a separate email, copy, form, whatever, carrier pigeon. Virtual meetings and video conferences, as schools are figuring out what they're going to do, just some quick notes about that. Please make sure that a parent is always aware before a youth joins a call or video conference. Please make sure that the parent's role, you understand the parent's role is to ensure the youth's safety and environment. 2D leadership is still needed to be done, and that no calls with youth are recorded. That's kind of important. And please remember that keep another adult included in all email communications. Last but not least, if you have a question, you can email me at Jared Kavanaugh, all one word, at gmail.com. And also, all of the coronavirus changes for rank advancements are available at www.scouting.org/coronavirus/COVID-19 FAQ. Before I get off of here, if you are needing to do an Eagle project right now and start one because time is of the essence, please, please, please find a need, develop the project, gather the materials, learn how to do what you need to do that project, recruit and train the volunteers to do that project. There's a lot of things going on that people have a need for right now that you may be able to do. Once again, if you need some more information on that, you can contact me at my email at jaredkavanaugh@gmail.com.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much, Jared, for all that information. I know that you've got to take off here in a second, so if anyone has any questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll try to get to them in a little bit. But as Jared mentioned, just, I'm assuming drop you an email, and you will answer any questions that come in. I know that we've had a lot of scouts going through their advancement and getting things done over the course of the summer. And I know that we've had several Eagle Scouts complete boards over the summer. What advice would you give to units right now that are struggling with advancement through the age of virtual scouting? Is there a tip or a trick or something that people should keep in mind? We obviously just heard all of the changes, but is there something that you could give us as far as a way of advice for people to try to implement these and move their unit forward, even if they're not able to meet in person right now?
Do your best. Sometimes that is the main thing to keep in mind for the scout and for the adults who are helping the scout. Don't get frustrated with this. It is a new time for all of us, and that as long as everybody's doing their best, it's going to happen. And don't be afraid to reach out. If you're a scout having trouble, reach out to another scout that's already done the requirement. If you're a scoutmaster who is having trouble handling the vast web of video conferencing and what program to use, reach out to a scout. They've probably used it in gaming or some other aspect and for school the past couple months. But just do your best. That is what I would say to keep in mind, is do your best, because that's what that's the standard.
It is definitely fantastic advice. The Cub Scout motto has never applied more than it does right now. I want to personally thank you as well as Mr. Heath and Mr. Lang and all of your team for all of your hard work over the course of the summer and everything that you've done with advancement and trying to keep Scouts advancing. The one thing I would also add on is for all of the units out there, make sure you're reporting your advancement. If you use Scout Book, fantastic. But if you don't, please make sure that you're reporting all of those advancement thresholds that are being met. It's important information that we as a district need, the council needs, and we just want to make sure that everyone is continuing to move forward. So without anything else, Jared, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. We will talk to you again soon. Have a great night, my friend.
You too.
All right. We're going to move on to our next segment for tonight. And like we said, normally in July, this is a conversation that we would have with all of the issues surrounding COVID-19 and the pandemic. Obviously, things are developing on a daily and even hourly basis in some cases, especially where the topic of school is concerned. Right now, we are in the middle of what should be our prime recruiting time. Normally by this point, in fact, my pack, this would normally be our sign-up night. And as Tucker alluded to earlier, things have been pushed back slightly and we're making certain modifications. So we do want to start discussion of the recruitment efforts that we want all of our units to be taking during the month of August and into September. The first thing I want to show you, though, is a reminder that there are tools out there above and beyond the things that we're going to talk about. We obviously need to find ways of doing things virtually or doing things in a new way. And one of those is the idea of the Scout Talk. And it used to be in previous years that we would go in during a lunch period or be able to stand at an open house table and have the one-on-one conversations or talk to large groups of scouts at one time and present the fun and excitement that scouting entails. And most school districts at this time have said that outside visitors are not going to be able to come into the building for understandable reasons. And with that, the National Boy Scouts of America office has created a number of tools, and these are all available for download by your unit in the BSA Brand Center. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we'll talk about that here in a second. But you can download this example that I'm about to play for you, or any number of others, for a virtual Scout Talk. And the cool part about these, they're actually being done by Scouts. So I just want to share this with you here real quick. Enjoy this virtual Scout Talk with Cub Scout Carlos.
My name is Carlos, and I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a Scout like me. Who here knows what Cub Scouts do? Well, since this is a video, I'm just going to tell you what they do, and let's see if you're right. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities, and we make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, and fishing, and swimming together. We have fun. We play sports and go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Scouts can become future leaders. In fact, some Scouts have even made history. Did you know that some of our former presidents, astronauts, award-winning scientists, and actors were Scouts when they were your age? Here's an example of something Cub Scouts get to do each year. Wait for it. We use our skills to make rockets, and then we fly them. So, who wants to become a Scout? Okay, this is still a video, so I'm gonna need you to let me know a different way. If you want to join, visit bascout.org. So find a pack near you, get any questions answered, and sign up for Cub Scouts online. Thanks for watching my video. I hope to see you again soon as a Cub Scout like me.
What a fantastic way to transition into the discussion of recruitment. And for that, we bring back in Tucker LaPrade, our district director. Tucker, welcome back. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of challenges when it comes to recruiting this year. One of my favorite times of the year when it comes to preparing for a new school year is being able to do the in-person open house and be able to do the in-person sign-up night inside the schools where my pack recruits from. And this year, that is not possible. So let's talk a little bit about what the plan is for this year, what our thoughts and our ideas are. And after you present your information, we'll start bringing some people back together, and we'll talk more about different tactics or different ideas and brainstorm some things that we can all be doing, not just packs, but troops as well. This is an ideal time to be recruiting for your troops, and bring this all back together for all of our leaders here at the roundtable. So Tucker, go ahead and take it away.
Sure, thank you, Matt. Well, that virtual school talk was awesome, and that is, in fact, what we've asked the schools to show. As many of you, some of you know, the Indiana legislature passed a bill this year that guaranteed school access for organizations like the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, other organizations that are chartered by the United States Congress. And so we realized that for safety reasons, we can't go into the schools and talk to the kids anymore. But we are using this virtual school talk to hopefully recreate a little bit of the magic of scouting. In many cases, the other recruitment events and activities are still going on. Flyers are, by and large, still allowed to go home for those that are in school. And many times the schools will allow us to, if not hold the join night at the school, we are seeing in some cases that we're allowed to hold the join night in the parking lot, if not in the cafeteria. So we still have those same touches that we've always had, but as many of you know, I think all of you on this call tonight are parents. As a parent, there's just a lot more noise to kind of cut through, and it can be really frightening to think about a new activity for our children to participate in. So if some of you are feeling frustrated, or some of you are wondering, why are we even trying right now? What's the point of all this? I do want to just briefly, before I launch into a couple other things, give you a little bit of research that I just found out about today from the national office. I was in a national webinar today, and we were briefed by our national marketing team that's been doing some research about what parents are looking for from youth serving organizations during the pandemic. And I just thought this was really telling, and it was almost inspiring to me in a way to kind of keep going. So I'm just going to read this briefly, and I'm sorry I can't put a slide up because these slides have not yet been released. They just came out today. So the question was posed to parents: what are you looking for in a youth serving program this fall, given the impact of COVID-19? 48%, the majority, said they're just looking for normalcy. So I just think about that impact that we are, as an organization, able to give families a sense of normalcy through our programs and how important that is. 45% said, do something as a group, even if socially distant. 44% said, do something productive with peers, even online. 30% said, something to keep them busy. I'm sure we can all appreciate that as parents. And then there's a couple more. Only 15% said, waiting until pandemic subsides. So I just thought that was just really powerful. The power of our program to bring a sense of normalcy and comfort to American families during this time is, I think, really important and probably can't be overstated. There's one other bit from this presentation that I apologize, I'm going to read to you guys, and maybe I can get this typed up and sent out later. So the question posed was, what part of the scouting program are most valuable that you want to continue as the pandemic adjusts our programming over the next months? So 51% said online events, so they feel like they're part of the scouting movement. 50% said character and leadership building opportunities. 47% said online events to keep them engaged in the day-to-day program. 46% said service and giving back to the community. 44% said outdoor experiences. 43% said trusted partner to help me make the most of the time with my children. 42% said opportunities to build fitness, and on down. I think it's remarkable. Parents are still looking for the same program that they've always looked for: a sense of camaraderie, personal fitness, character building, outdoor adventures. So I just think about the importance of what we're doing right now in this moment. It is difficult. Make no mistake, it is very, very difficult, but it is so worth it and so important. So I want to talk briefly. I think everyone has seen the information about text to join. So we're really excited about this. I've shared this with some of our Cub Scout leaders in a different forum. But if you just text the word join to for the Goldenberg Scout Center, 317-813-7125. If everybody just wants to try that, you'll get a little text back that says, ready for an adventure, and it'll take you to an online joining platform. This is a new platform created by Crossroads of America this year that allows people to join Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA and pay their fees online. So it's just a really, really wonderful tool. I've signed my 5-year-old up for Cub Scouts this way. It truly only takes 5 minutes. So it's just a fantastic tool. You can also go to crossroadsbsa.org/join, and you'll be directed to the same website. There was a question, I think a couple months ago when we were first rolling this out, can I put, yes, I want to join a particular unit, and yes, you can say that. You can also have no idea what unit you want to join and just say, hey, here's the school I go to, or here's where I live. And that will eventually get routed to me, and I'll get them to the right place. So that's a really, really exciting tool. And we're just so excited for our units to do that. The other, Matt, I'm not sure where this fits in the flow of things, but I did want to talk just briefly about the check-in process at join events. Okay, so when you actually get a join event, what you want to do is you want to text the word slime to that 317-813-7125. And then when you do that, it will prompt you to put in a code. And that code I can provide you with. It's unique for every join event. And then you put in your child's information. Well, what that does is it replaces the old paper form, which is, as you all know, kind of notoriously hard to read. And so when you do that, the very next day, it spits out an email that says, hey, you had all these families, and it gives their name and email address. Attend your join event. So it's just a really super easy way to follow up with them. So we're really, really excited about that. So again, for those packs that are having recruitment events soon, I will be giving you your code, but just another tool for us to use our resources to really help connect with families. All of that is great and wonderful, and we're excited about that. And conversely, perhaps grateful to the pandemic for helping us to innovate and do the things we should have done years ago. But I'm here to tell you that all the things that the council can do, quote unquote the council, quote unquote the district, professional scouters, volunteers, will mean nothing this year if we don't get engagement from our units. So, you know, the video, as compelling as it is, a flyer from school, if we don't get our units actually engaging, I really think that in this year, we're going to have really poor results. And what do I mean by that? Well, as a unit, you can share out to your individual school's Facebook pages, to your community pages. You can share out that joining website and say, hey, you know, we're really excited to have you in Pack 139. We have a fantastic program, and we've already got a couple campouts planned. And you know, we want you to be a part of us. Come join us. Our join night is, you know, this date, right? So I don't know, Matt, if you, I think I sent you a picture of the Facebook post I put up in my son's school.
For it.
So I just throwing this up here as an example. We, the Crossroads of America Council, actually invested some dollars in advertising the Join Scouting thing in July, and we got very, very few, maybe one or two people to join this way. So then I thought, well, what if I just give it a personalized touch and throw this up at my son's school? And I had some other people from my own pack throw this up at their children's schools. We targeted about 4 IPS schools that our kids go to. And with just 4 Facebook posts, just like this one, we were able to have 17 new families join in about 48 hours. So again, all the advertising money that we as a council spent was really just, it was maybe nice for brand awareness, but it wasn't what got parents to the finish line. It wasn't what got them to join. What really got them to join was their peers in a place that they knew, a Facebook group, saying, hey, this is just a really fun experience. Our kids love it. We think you should join us. So that is the most powerful thing that you can do, and you can share. So I just, we are, as a district, creating Facebook events for all the join nights as they get planned and on the schedule. The next one is Beech Grove. We've created a Facebook event for the Beech Grove joining night, PAC 108. So expect that to be shared all over the Beech Grove schools and the Beech Grove community pages and Nextdoor and everywhere else. So that's kind of my piece. Matt, I guess if there's any questions or thoughts around that, I'd certainly be happy to talk through things.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm going to do here in a second is, because the question that came up is something that I can use as a demonstration. We had a question that came through from Nick and Beth, and they were asking, I'm assuming that people still have to submit a normal application in addition to a digital sign-up, and the answer to that is an emphatic absolutely not. The digital sign-up methods that we now use, and I'm going to switch something around here real quick. Bear with me. When you... Sorry, I didn't have this set up in advance. Google Chrome. There we go. When you go to crossroadsbsa.org/join, or there's a shortcut that you can use that is joinnow.app, I believe. joinnow.app/spot. Either of those two codes will work. This is what you will have pop up on your browser screen. It will also, it's a mobile responsive site, so this is the same thing that your families will see on their phone, just oriented differently. There's a video there talking about Cub Scouting, but as you go down below, steps for becoming a member, and you drop that down, you'll have some information here. Complete the interest form below. So they're going to fill out all of the information that I'm about to show you, and then at the end of filling out all that information, there will be a chance for them to actually register and pay. So that registration, it's less the register and it's more the pay part. It will charge them for the current joining amount for the National Council fee based on when it is they are signing up. They will then take that application. Once it is submitted, it will be sent to our council office, essentially Tucker, and then it will be sent to the unit for which the application is intended. As Tucker said, and we'll get to this in a second, there's a place where they can specify their school. There's also a place where they can specify that they know which unit they want to join. If they say a school, we have the information of which schools essentially are served by which PACs. When they type in that school, that will be used to separate out who gets the application. If they say which unit they want, then obviously that unit will get the application. It will be sent to you, whoever it is that's designated for your unit to receive them. Generally speaking, we're talking about a Key 3 member. The committee chair, more than likely. It could be the COR or Cub Master, depending on how it's designated. If you have questions on who is receiving that email, please let Tucker know. But you will then approve the application. That's essentially you signing as you would on a paper application at the bottom for the unit leader's signature. And then it's done. The registrars will enter the information, and they will be added as an active application. The information below is fairly simple. What school does your child attend? Parent's name, first and last, phone number. They can opt in for text messages from the council. An email address, the youth's name, youth gender, youth grade level. It is designed for kindergarten through 5th, but there is an option for 6th and above. If somebody uses this, we will get them signed up for a troop. We'll have to figure out which troop it's going to, but we will do that. I know what Cub Scout pack we would like to join. If they select that, it will then ask for the district. So please make sure that you're telling people Pathfinder District and then pack and the unit number. If they don't know what district, it's not the end of the world, but it will make things easier on council's end. They can also select that they have an additional child to register, and then when you complete this, they will then be able to complete an additional one for additional youth if they are so interested. That's all they need to do. And from there, they simply go in, complete the rest of the information. It'll ask for address and things like that. They complete the payment, and it will be submitted electronically. If they do this, they do not have to do a paper application. Nick and Beth then followed up with the question, so will all applications be going digital? The answer to that one is no, not yet. I mean, digital is the way of the future. More people do transactions online than ever before, and that is something that is going to continue to grow. I don't see the end of paper applications completely anytime in the near future, but more people are comfortable making purchases online than they are offline in many cases. There are a lot of studies that show that people would rather make a purchase or make a reservation or find information on their own without actually talking to a person. So this is simply an extension of that. That said, the paper application is still completely acceptable. If you want to use paper applications, the process is the same as what you're used to. Simply submit that application with the payment for all of the fees for joining to the council office, and they will take things from there. On the fees, do remember that effective August 1st, BSA National did add in the $25 new joining fee. So in addition to the 5 months or 4 months, depending on if it's August or September, of the national fee of $66, and then the 4 or 5 months of the council fee, which is essentially $1 per month. And then if they're getting the magazine, Boys Life / Scouts Life, $1 a month per month for that. In addition to those, add an additional $25. That is effective now as of August 1st, and you'll want to make sure you're collecting that on your join night with your applications, because you will need to submit that to the office as well. Those are the questions that we had come in right now, and as soon as I find the button here, we'll bring Tucker back in. You were talking about the importance of reaching out to people, and I do want to piggyback on that. All of these videos and images and whatnot are fantastic, but at the end of the day, it really is about one-to-one connections and invitations and storytelling on our experiences in scouting. You talked about your Facebook page and Facebook groups. Are there other tactics that you're aware of, or that you would encourage people to look into using? Other suggestions that units might want to think about?
Yeah, absolutely. So one item that you guys as unit leaders have a little bit better access to than myself or Matt do, just because you have the relationship within your school, is the individual school newsletter. So many of our schools will send out a newsletter, and it's very easy for you to email the principal or whoever the parent coordinator is for your school and give them a quick blurb and get into that newsletter. So if it's virtual, you could send the Scout Talk video and just say, hey, we'd really like you to join us on our join night at this date, or at our PAC meeting in September, or any time of year. Another kind of a tried and true method, but I think one that will be really important for us this year. I don't know if you guys can see, these are the buddy cards. This buddy card, it looks like a birthday invitation card that your son or daughter might give to the rest of his or her kindergarten class or second grade class, or just a couple people in their class, depending on how you guys do birthday parties. But the neat thing is that you can have your son or daughter address it to their friends, or you can, depending on your son or daughter's handwriting, and put the date and time and location, and you can give it to their full class. So that's a great method. Other things that are just really good best practices, you can talk to your principal about allowing all the scouts in your school to wear their uniform on the day of the join night, or in select times during the year. You might have your principal put scouting in the day's announcement. So there's lots of other ways to kind of get the word out. And I know some of you probably have better ideas than I've even mentioned. So hopefully, if you're out there and you've got a great idea, you're throwing that in the comments so we can all benefit as well.
And bulletins.
I just got a ping in my earphones here from Alan Wente, who said church bulletins. I think another important tactic that we need to talk about, and as Tucker just said, please, if you're watching this video, if you have a neat idea that your unit has used in past, or something that you're planning on using for this recruiting season, please comment below. Share it with the rest of our units. Maybe it will inspire another unit to try it and use it to great success. Alan just mentioned the idea of church bulletins, and I think an important thing that we need to look at are recruiting methods beyond the school. And Tucker, you and I talked about this earlier this week as we were brainstorming for tonight's presentation. The schools are at their, for lack of a better way of putting it, are at their wits' end on even executing a school year with all of the additional loopholes and requirements, and are we meeting in person or is it virtual, and what is the transmission percentage, and what color system are we in if we're in Marion County. They are working as hard as they can to keep up with everything. A great method for the schools, and if you're not using this for your unit, I encourage you to try to reach out and find a way to get in touch with them. Instead of going through the school directly, find the school's parent-teacher organization, PTO, PTA, whatever you may call it for your school, and operate through them. It's, in many cases, those organizations are the ones that are the wayfinders and the guiding lights for parents right now, because the principals and because the teachers are so overwhelmed with what they're doing. The PTOs and PTAs are really the ones who are helping guide parents through the start of the year process. I know that for one of the schools that my pack pulls from, we have a great relationship with the PTA there, and they are happy to do communications to parents. If you don't have a relationship, I'd encourage it. But above that, are you using flyers at local community bulletin boards? Coffee houses used to be great for this. Obviously, in the age of COVID, there are different places that we may or may not have access to. Russell Adamson brings up a comment here that his school would not allow buddy cards. The buddy cards can be used outside the school. Are you in contact with the students of your unit, or the scouts of your unit? Have them invite a friend outside of the school environment, even if it's a digital buddy card, if it's a text, if it's a video invite. A lot of kids are doing Zoom calls and Facebook Messenger and things like that on their own. Have them invite someone in person, and have the families tell you, here's who we're inviting, and if possible, here's their contact information, and build a contact list from there. Relying on the schools themselves has always been something that we've fallen back on, but in this day and age, I think it's going to be very difficult to expect principals to have the bandwidth and the time and the focus to be able to do that communication for us. I think we're going to have to find ways to do it on our own.
Elks Club, American Legions, Masonic Lodges.
You know what? I'm going to bring Alan in here real quick. Let's welcome back Alan Wente. He keeps talking in my ear. A little behind the curtain for everybody. We can hear each other even when you guys can't. Alan, you were giving some ideas here. Share with everybody else your ideas that you were talking about.
Well, hello. Excuse me. Hello, everybody again. I was just talking about the different community organizations that may not directly be our demographic, but if we go in and if we have members of our units that are members of American Legions or Masonic Lodges or Civic Leagues or Elks Club or Lions Club or Kiwanis, Rotary, all of these organizations. And so, a lot of these members may be of the older generation, but they probably have grandkids. and they may have grandkids that are local. So if we can say, look at this great organization you're a part of, wouldn't you like to have your grandchild or your son or daughter a part of a similar organizations that's going to develop their character? I think that there's a lot of friendly organizations to our movement. So if we can just get in front of them electronically or in person, it may help us out as well.
Fantastic. Another question that came up, and I'm going to handle this one solo, gentlemen. I'll bring you back in here in a second. Keith Carnes asked the question, is the video that we showed at the beginning available to share for web pages, Facebook pages, etc.? And the very short and simple answer is absolutely yes. Earlier, I referenced something called the BSA Brand Center. I'm going to open up my screen sharing here real quick. If you just go to your web browser, the web address is kind of complicated. I simply type into the Google bar BSA Brand Center, 3 separate words, and the first thing that comes up is BSA Brand Center, cookie consent. That is what you're looking for. If you click on that, it will take you through asking about some cookies probably. I already have because I use this. I've used this before. And it will bring you to essentially a site that gives you access to all form of marketing materials that you can use as a unit to help promote scouting through recruiting or activities, your Facebook page, next door. There's a ton of different places that you can use this. And if you scroll all the way down right now toward the bottom, there's one that's called Fall 2020 Recruitment Assets. By clicking on that, it will take you into a collection of assets. There are a few different samples of the Boys Life magazine that are either PDF. They're all PDF versions, but some are printable, some you can use for screen. But then as you go below that, there's going to be a series of videos, and the Carlos video is in here, but there are all different types of videos in here with different scouts, different links. There's 30 seconds, there's 60 seconds. The videos reference some varying activities in them. There are also Spanish versions for those of you who are trying to reach Spanish segments of your community. Those are also available. And another form of the video, this is more for the parents, obviously, than the scouts, but there are 5 questions videos. And there's a few different versions with either multiple adults or single adults, and they're answering the 5 biggest questions about Cub Scouting. What is it? Who can join? Things like that. They're about, if I remember correctly, they're about 4 minutes long. These are all available for download, and you can use them through your digital marketing efforts for your unit. Not only that, but if you're looking for other materials throughout the year, they're broken down by Cub Scouting, Scouts BSA, Venturing, Sea Scouts, etc. And if you go into, I'll just click on Scouts BSA here as an example, there are email templates, there are flyers, there are photos, posters, social media images. And if you go into like social media images, you'll have some that already have headlines or logos attached to them. And in addition to all that, there's also a file within the BSA Brand Center that has logos. So if you need a fresh copy of the Cub Scouting logo or Scouts BSA logo, that's where you can get those as well. So if you've never had the chance to use the BSA Brand Center, it is something that we highly recommend. It's got lots of great resources that you can use for your recruiting. Definitely make use of those. I use them for my unit all the time. And that is a resource that you have available. Another source, and I'm going to bring Tucker back in here so we can finish off our conversation on the recruiting part. Another source to think about is digital platforms beyond Facebook. You mentioned, Tucker, your sharing of your story on Facebook. Was that a Facebook page, a Facebook group? Where did you share that information when you shared it and got the results?
It was a closed Facebook group. So I think that is that's where a lot of us parents especially are kind of part of these specialized Facebook groups. So maybe you're like most of our schools have a Facebook group. A lot of our neighborhoods have a Facebook group. There's Facebook groups around Indy with kids or just whatever it might be. So your church most likely has a Facebook group. So sharing that within a group, people know it's from a trusted source. It's from someone in their own group. So I think that's why it's just a really great tactic and fun to do that, to share with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And the important part there, I think, and what was successful about yours, it wasn't Tucker LaPrade, the district director, sharing that information. It was Tucker LaPrade, the parent, that you were sharing it with people and making that one-to-one connection. I think in many cases we think of recruiting as being our responsibility with the units, when really it's, as the leaders, when really we need to be asking our families to say, hey, talk to the other families that you know, or post in groups that you're involved with, is a great way to look at it. Another good source to talk about or to look into is Nextdoor. If you or your families use this platform, it's a neighborhood-oriented type of a platform. This is another great place to post things. I'm going to show you an example here that I actually posted earlier today, where I simply put together a photo as soon as it loads. I put together an image that talked about the text to join, using a stock image from the BSA Brand Center. Put on there text join to 317-813-7125, just like we talked about. And then I put on there, please select, I know what unit I would like to join, and told them the information to enter in there. And I put this out through Nextdoor, targeting all of the neighborhoods that I live in, all around me. If your families use Nextdoor, this is another great platform to look at doing, because it targets people in your area and people in your neighborhoods, as opposed to people who might be all across the country. But not just Facebook. Twitter, LinkedIn to a lesser degree, but it's there. Instagram, Google itself, if your pack or your troop has not created a Google My Business listing so that it's searchable, that might be something to consider. YouTube videos, any platform that you can think of where you can spread the message. We always think of Facebook first and foremost, but the key this year with the challenge we're going to be facing on recruiting is spread your net as far as you can. Make as many personal connections as possible, involve as many people as possible, and use as many different platforms and different techniques as possible to bring everybody together for your sign-up night, wherever and whenever that may be. I'm not seeing any other questions come through on the chat. If you have any final questions, please go ahead and post them here.
Matt, do you want to mention the video on Facebook?
I do want to mention, Tucker was just bring this back up. I'll bring Tucker back in. There was another video in addition to the ones that are in the Brand Center. I know, and we wanted to show it tonight. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work because I don't have the actual file and I can't download from YouTube. But Tucker, do you want to tell everybody about the additional video that we have access to and available to us to use, as long as we share it from the district Facebook page or from the council's YouTube channel?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually my favorite of all of these, because it's one that we produced here in Central Indiana. It's just under 2 minutes, and it's talking to local parents about why they love scouting, and it's I don't want to ruin it. It's not overly sentimental, but it definitely kind of put a lump in my throat when I saw it and thought about the impact that scouting's had for my kids. Kelly Johnson, committee chair for PAC 104, is in it, and her son Joey. It's I think her son's Joey.
Correct.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful video. So just, if you haven't seen it yet or haven't had a chance, take a peek at our Facebook page. We'll try and share that out again so everyone can see it. But just another tool to share with your neighbors and say, hey, and your friends, and these are local Indiana families, and this is what scouting means to us.
Yeah, fantastic, Tucker. And one other comment that came in, just to kind of close everything out. Keith Carnes posted a comment here saying, not about recruiting, but I would expect some changes to order the aero requirements for this year, since so many summer camps got canceled. And I think that's going to be the final takeaway from tonight is, as much as we would all like for the COVID-19 situation to simply, pass on and no longer be an issue, it is going to be with us for at least the foreseeable near future. This is not to bait individual feelings about it. It's simply and it is what it is type of a moment. And there will be a lot of changes still to come. There will be more announcements or more information, more things to keep everybody up to date. And the good news is that we do still have a platform such as these virtual roundtables to try to continue to communicate this information out and keep everybody as up to date as possible. So I do want to thank our attendees. So Alan, Tucker, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I do want to encourage everyone out there to make sure that you're following our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our e-newsletter, which we'll be starting back with here later this month. But more importantly, share this information with your units or with your scouting families and encourage them to subscribe and sign up and follow our communications channels, because as Keith alludes to, there will be more changes coming down the pike that we are not aware of yet, that we can't even plan for. But we will do our best as a committee, myself, Alan Wente, Tucker LaPrade, Jared Kavanaugh, Angie, Marshall, the entire team that are too numerous to name. We will all do our best to help keep everybody up to date. So with that, unless there are any other questions, I want to thank everybody so much for your time tonight. Alan, Tucker, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please reach out to us, share them with us, and we will do our best to get you the information that you need. But without further ado, have a wonderful August. Great luck with recruiting, everyone. Can't wait to see more scouts get involved with the program, and we will see you again for more than likely virtual roundtable in September, once again in about 4 weeks. So thanks. Have a wonderful night, everyone. We will talk to everybody very soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Matt.